I teach because I feel like I was called to be a teacher, and I was inspired by my music teachers growing up, and because of their influence on me, I decided to teach elementary school music. I find pride in watching my students perform and experience their own successes through my classroom, and I'm continually motivated to create engaging lessons as a result of my music students' excitement, and I love the challenge of meeting the needs of my diverse music students.
It's always the kids. It really is. However, it is so many little moments and big moments. Our kids, they come and they really want this environment that they can come to and not only love learning, but have the ability to form relationships with their peers, learn how to be a good peer, a good human, how to speak to people kindly, as well as all the academics. So we have the ability to form a safe environment for our kids to learn and live and grow is one of the biggest reasons. But it's the little moments that keep me going. Wow, I want to be a teacher every year. It's the little boy in my classroom this year, for instance. He came in and he was like, "Miss Peel, first day of school, I'm not a reader. I'm not going to be a reader. It's just not for me." And he has worked so hard throughout the year and is not only a reader now, but he is one of the better readers in my class. It's those moments that they come in and they say, "I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. I don't have the ability to do it. I don't have the support to do it." And being able to tell your students that, "Yeah, you can. You've got this, and I've got it with you." And I think that overall sums up like why I want to be a teacher, is that you have that ability to work with our younger generations, and our younger generations truly are not only going to change the world, but changing the world right now. And the ability to fill up those students with hopefully everything that they need while they're in my room and the years after is really my main goal and why I love teaching.
I went to seminary after I finished college. I'm an ordained minister. I did ministry in a hospital and then in a church, and then went back to school, sensing, because I have this love of school, I went back and got a PhD, and I wrote a book. And then after I had kids and as my kids got in public school, as time went on, I really just started getting this sense that the next thing I needed to do was do something in school. I thought that I was going to be doing things with kids with disabilities because my doctoral work had focused on ministry with kids with disabilities. And that's what I thought I was applying for. And then I got a call from the assistant principal who said, "I got your application, and I know you were interested in a special education position, but we really need an English teacher. Would you consider it?" And it completely changed my life. I had not planned to teach English. I have a bachelor's degree in English, but that had not been my plan. But generally, the things that are my plan aren't nearly as good as the things that are plans that are designed by somebody greater than I. And so I thought about it, and I realized, and the feeling kind of washed over me, that yes, this is what I want to do. I want to teach 7th grade English. And I tell people, I teach 7th grade English. And there are people who say, "Oh my gosh, really? Are you serious? I'm sorry, I pity you." And I say, and because I've realized over the last 2 years that this is absolutely where I belong. Why do I teach? I teach because it's what I'm called to do. It's my vocation. To nerd out a little bit, vocation is based from the Greek word vocare, or Latin or something, that means to call. It means called. And indeed, I believe I am called at this point in my life to be a teacher. It's my vocation. I believe that I have been given the desire and the skills, and certainly the education after all these years of school, to do something with that and to do it in the classroom. Much to my surprise, I think, I use every ounce of my education, every ounce of it, in a classroom, in a 7th grade English classroom every day. And so I teach because it's my vocation, but I also teach because I believe that each of my students has a calling that's all their own. I believe that they have been given a reason for being on this earth. And they have been given gifts and skills and resources and imagination and energy to use to make this world better. And I believe that part of our calling as teachers is to help students figure themselves out, at least a little bit. I believe it's our calling, and it's my calling as a teacher, to help students realize how precious they are, because certainly plenty of more seventh graders than I would like to admit have no clue that they're precious. And very few people have told them that. And so I try to show them every day, whether it's through kind words, whether it's through stern words, in every way, that they are precious and that they have a purpose in this world. And it's not just for when they get older, it's now. There are things that they can do now to make this world a better place. There are things they can do now to make our school better, our classroom better. Things at home may be terrible for them, and for far too many of our students, it is terrible. But there are things that they can do to make the world better, however and wherever they can, if they're just willing, and if they will just claim the fact that they have something to offer now and in the future. And so in my classroom every day, as an English teacher, I encourage my students to use their words for good, to use their writing for good, to read things, even if they think they hate reading, to read as much as they can so that they can have opinions about things and use those opinions to maybe change the way the world thinks about things. This is what I do every day. I walk in every day hoping that a student will be more inspired to be themselves and to do something with that, to do something with themselves to change this world. I believe that this challenge, this wonderful challenge, is also a wonderful privilege. It's a high and holy privilege to get to walk into a classroom, and to speak to 105 kids is what we have this year, to tell 105 kids that they matter. Certainly it is hard. It's maybe the hardest job I've ever had. And as a minister, serving in churches and in hospitals, I've done some pretty hard things. But it's hard to walk into a classroom sometimes, especially after a year like this, when everybody is just so tired and we're not always our best selves. But it is such a privilege to have that kind of time with students. And so I try to take every moment seriously and use every moment to the best of my ability and to make the most of it. So why do I teach? I teach because I've been called to. I teach because I can do nothing else right now. I can't imagine doing anything else. And then I also ask, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I teach? I mean, the fact that I get to go somewhere and spend my day doing this, and it's such a privilege. So that's why I teach.
You know, this is going to sound a little weird, but selfishness, I think. Not greed. Obviously, greed is something that you would do for yourself where no one else would benefit from it. But selfishness, in a way, I think, is when I may do something for myself, but others can benefit from it. So, you know, unlike greed, where, you know, I'm not stacking Benjamins up in my garage or anything, but instead I am selfishly enjoying what I get out of it. When I can take a student that has some sort of fear of math, and they can come into my room, and then the next thing you know, they're enjoying it or they're having fun, then I get the satisfaction of knowing that I was able to do something to take a fear away from them. So I get the gratification of that. So I think that's a little bit of selfishness. If I can help a student to understand a topic that may be very difficult, that may be something that they may have said that their parents feared about math, and they can come out and say, you know, that wasn't so bad after all, then to me, well, I'm satisfied, and I get a gratification and a satisfaction knowing that I did something like that. So why I teach is personal. It's to me, it's my feeling, it's my a need that I get to satisfy myself. So may sound funny that, I'm saying I'm doing this for selfish reasons. But again, unlike greed, where you hold all that in and you don't allow others to benefit from it, selfishness is a little bit different. I'm doing it for myself, but others are benefiting from that too. So I think that's probably one of the reasons that I teach.
So I teach and I work in the education field because I feel like it's one of the only places in the world where you are absolutely going to make a difference every single day. Even on your worst days, you're going to go home knowing you made a difference that day to somebody in that school building, and nothing is ever the same. Every day there's new challenges, new adventure, and it doesn't matter whether you're teaching math or English or reading, there's always something to be learned. And it's amazing to see the investment that you put into these kids and how you feel when you realize what you're getting out of it. I just watched my first group graduate a couple years ago, and I was not prepared for the emotions I felt from it, realizing, I had these kids in 6th grade and seeing them 6 years later was incredible, and I helped them get there. And so I teach and I work with kids because this is what I want to do. I've always known I wanted to do it, and I can't see myself doing anything else.
Why I become a teacher or why I am a teacher. There is a million reasons why I am a teacher, why I become a teacher. But one of them is because I have so much passion to give when I teach to my students. Another is because, as an English as a second language learner teacher, I identify with my classes very much, especially they are speaking another language. And I like for my students, when they come to my classroom, feel confident. I want them to feel the support that they need, and also to identify to a place that they know they will be safe. Why I become a teacher is because since I was a little girl, my father always, one of my tasks was to help my brothers and sisters to do their assignments. And from there, I believe that I developed the passion that I have to be a teacher. And after all, that's what I am now. English as a second language teacher with my beautiful accent, which we identify each other here in the district because I feel like we identify one another. And I always tell my students that it's not an easy road to be a teacher. However, all the little obstacles that we have in the road, they are good, and we need to embrace them to one day to fulfill our dreams. That's what I am, or I become a teacher.
I was born and raised in Gulfport, and I come from a family of teachers. And when I came to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. My mom's a teacher, and so I saw how hard she worked, and I really didn't know if teaching was for me just because of the long hours that she put in, and she just works constantly. And so she makes differences in all these children's lives, and I did not know if I could do that. Well, when I went to college, I majored in elementary education, and I got a job working at a local elementary school in Starkville. And my love for kids came, it was very clear that I loved kids. And so I did that, and I teach because I want to make a difference. And my kids are my motivating force. They keep me going every day. When I have a bad day, they're the ones that make me smile, and they're the reason I do what I do, and I love what I do.
So why I teach, basically, being a former student at Gulfport High and the Gulfport school districts, teachers have always shown a lot of interest in me, have always built relationships with me, and they have been very influential in my life and my life choices. And I thought, as a career choice going on, that being able to teach every day would be able to allow me to have a positive impact and influence on children's lives. And I couldn't think of anywhere better to be and anything better to do than to do that.
Well, I grew up in Gulfport School District, and I had the privilege of having teachers that pushed me to be the best student, the best athlete, and the best person that I could be. And I teach so that I can push the next generation of students to be the best student, the best athlete, or the best person that they can be. I enjoy watching kids have success or find success in things that they didn't think they could accomplish, whether it be in the classroom or on the athletic field. Brand new things are given to kids, and a lot of them are defeated before they even have a chance to find success. And so once they put the effort and the energy into it and they succeed, it's an honor for me and a privilege and a reward for me to watch that happen and watch kind of the spark go on and watch them succeed in life even when they didn't think they could. And so that is why I teach.
I have been in the library for 10 years now, and it has been such a learning process. When I think back of like where I started and what motivated me when I first started teaching, it's very different than what it is now 10 years. When I first started, I just, had this passion for reading and wanted the kids at my school to also have that love of reading and to grow as readers, and not just be good readers, but to be in love with reading, that when they're bored or when they're in a tough situation, they want to turn to a book and find just that exploration that I had when I was growing up. But now over the last 10 years, it's kind of evolved into wanting students not just to have the passion for reading, but just have that passion for knowledge. In the library, we do a lot of information literacy, and that is finding information and then knowing how to apply that information. And I feel like just right now that's such an important skill, because there's so much information being thrown at students all the time that even at a young age, I want them to be able to take that information and decipher what's true, what's real, what's good in our world, with like news going different ways and just all those kind of things. I just want them to take that information. One thing that has really kept me in the library and at my school is for my students, I want them to have that consistent face. And I feel very honored that I get to watch students grow from the time that they're in most cases at our school, pre-K, all the way to 5th grade. I get to be that person that no matter what grade level they're in, they're gonna get to come see Miss Johnson in the library. And especially for students like the students at my school, that consistency is just so important to me, that I get to know them and I get to have that relationship with them, and they get to come and have that relationship with me. And it's more so than just someone that they're going to get to spend a year with, which I do know that classroom teachers get to have those deep bonds with students, but I get to watch them grow. I get to see what they become, who they get to start to turn into, and watch them just bloom into these incredible people, and that's really special.
I started teaching, and I am still teaching because I just have a passion for students. I really do. I was a Sunday school teacher. When I was a kid, I would teach the 4 and 5-year-olds, and we would sing songs together. And as I grew up, the passion developed more, and I couldn't think of anything else other than go to school to become a teacher, elementary teacher. I wish I had one of these roundabout stories where I was going to become a doctor or a lawyer, and I just knew my passion was teaching from the get-go. Teaching was my jam. And I just have a passion for progress. I love to see kids get better and better as the year progresses, and that's exactly what I teach them, that an A is not necessarily successful, but working toward getting better every 9 weeks, that's true success. So if you can see yourself getting better and better throughout your years, what you knew in kindergarten isn't what you know in 5th grade, I said, you have really reached some milestones and you have more to go. So when I think of why I teach, it's about the kids, and I feel that that was what I was destined to do. We have a huge learning ecosystem here in the Gulfport School District, and every district should be that way, and every teacher should feel that they are part of that ecosystem that helps kids get better and better and better. So by the time they graduate from this system that we call K-12 education, they should be people who have a clue that I have the possibility of being whatever I decide to be. So that's why I teach.
Why do I teach? Well, many of you probably don't even know the year 1980. But in 1980, I was in college, and my professor, I was going for engineering, and I just didn't like it. It wasn't my calling. So I changed my degree to elementary education, graduated from college, and got my first teaching job after substitute teaching for 2 years. And Sister Francine asked me 2 very important questions I'll never forget. Why do you want to teach? Is it because you get the summers off? Are you looking for a husband? Or are you here for the kids? And ever since then, that has been the biggest impact in my life. My father was never happy with me being a teacher. He said I'd be poor all my life, but I have such riches that I can never imagine. I've taught in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Florida, and Mississippi. I have memories in all those places. I have memories of really good people I've worked with. And I have some memories of people who may have considered it a different career. So I guess I'm going to ask you this question, which Sister Francine asked me at James Lavelle School in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania in 1983. Why are you a teacher? Are you here for the summers? Are you here for a Mrs. degree or Mr. degree? Are you here for the kids? And one reason I love the Gulfport School District, and I've taught in other places, is if you're not here for the kids, you shouldn't be here. Because the kids make our day. They need us, and you know, if you really think about it, you need them as much as we need each other. So, when you look at what I've said today, think about it. Are you here for the kids? Because you're not here for the money. Or the summer's off. You got to be here for the kids.
When I was in school, in the 9th grade, I went to a career fair. And in that career fair, I got to see this wonderful video of F-16s flying. I made up my mind right then and there that I wanted to join the Air Force. And I asked the guy that was doing the video, said, what do I need to do to be able to join the Air Force? And he said, graduate high school. And that was music to my ears because, frankly, I hated school, hated everything about school. It was physically painful for me. School made me feel dumb because I felt like smart kids embrace school, and if you didn't embrace school, then you must not be smart. So I joined the Air Force, 23 years, did my thing. And when I retired from the Air Force in 2012, I had no idea what I was going to do when I grew up. I figured I'd be a contractor or something like that. But I started doing some soul searching, and I realized that the thing I loved the most about my military career was mentoring young adults. So I decided, I'd go down to CB base, maybe become a military instructor. They didn't have any jobs, and the gentleman I spoke to said, have you ever thought about teaching high school? I was like, absolutely not. And he's like, well, if you change your mind, contact this guy. And he handed me an email, and I called the number on the email, and it was Mr. Fava. Spoke to Mr. Fava. We had a little conversation. And one of the first things he said is, do you love kids? And I thought that was a trick question, like in a non-creepy way. Yeah, I love kids. And he's like, perfect. Send me your resume, and I'll contact you. So with that opportunity, like I said, I really started doing some soul searching. I realized that this would be a perfect opportunity to mentor young adults that aren't much younger than the young adults that I was getting in the Air Force. So my goal was to be able to mentor young adults to hopefully love school, because I didn't have that. So my goal is not just to teach them something, because anybody can teach them something. They can learn something on YouTube. I teach, why I teach is because I want to change lives. I like to see the light bulbs come on. I like the mentorship and being there for them through tough times. And that's really, the test scores are great, and then being successful in class is great. But what really keeps me coming back is 2 or 3 years down the road when a student comes back and says, Mr. Huffman, thank you for this, because it really made an impact on my life. So that's why I teach. I just teach to impact young men and women, and hopefully something I say or do, they will carry with them for the rest of their lives.
Why do I teach? It's the greatest profession in the world. Now, some may think it's because I love the joy of state testing like today, but there's so much more. My mom was a teacher, and from the time I was this high, I couldn't wait for her to get home. She would have stories, projects all over the place, and I would say, like, Mama, what'd y'all do today? What did they say funny today? And that stuck with me, and here I am today. I would say probably, other than my mom's influence, the greatest thing that keeps me coming back year after year after year is the aha moments. Thank you, Oprah. But when you have a child that's excited about learning, or some that are very apprehensive, and then they just get it. And the excitement that you see, it's like nothing else you've ever seen before. But you know, we're preachers, we're teachers, we're counselors, we're book reporters, we are parents, and then some of them even tell me I resemble their grandparent. But that's okay, I take that with honor. So like I said, it's the greatest profession. It's a community, we're family. It's the students, it's the teachers, it's your administration, and I'm gonna tell you what, I'd rather be no place else in this world.
Yeah, I teach because it's fun. I never really know exactly what to expect, but I know that I'm going to come in every day and I'm going to have a good time. And so as long as I'm engaging with my students and they're engaging with me, then we create something new every day. So for 15 years now, I've been coming in, and my job has produced something different every single day. And that opportunity to create and to collaborate with new people is something that I don't know that I could recreate in another place. And it wasn't something I was really expecting either. I didn't know what to expect when I started teaching. And that's been an incredibly rewarding experience for me. And it's something that grows too, that continues. Every time I see a student that's come through my door and then gone off, then I can see what they, how that's played out in their lives, and they can come back and bring that to me. So, I feel like I get as much back, at least, as I give on a day-to-day basis. So sharing that opportunity with a new group of people day in and day out is very rewarding, and that's why I teach.
When I was in elementary school, I dreaded going to school. I was the student that constantly had max amount of absences they could. I remember making my mom's life a nightmare trying to get me up in the mornings to go. Absolutely hated it. Then one year I got in a teacher's classroom who completely changed the outlook for me. I don't remember a specific conversation or event that happened, but I remember waking up and loving going to her class every day. I remember being excited and eager to learn and seeing what she had planned for the day. And for me, that's what I wake up every morning and hope that I can make a difference in a kid's life like she did for mine.
So whenever I think about why I teach, a lot of reasons come to my mind, but the main thing that I go back to is I want to help kids that are struggling. So I attended the Gulfport School District my entire elementary, middle school, and high school career, and I absolutely loved coming to school. I felt so smart, so confident in everything that I was doing. But then as I got older, I realized I actually really struggled in school. And the reason why I didn't know that whenever I was attending school was because my teachers made me feel so confident. They never made me feel like I could be ashamed of something that I didn't understand. I felt comfortable coming to them. So as I got older and I, went on my teaching career path, I knew that that's the only path for me. I really want to make kids in my class feel comfortable and confident and capable and do anything that they want to do with their life. So in addition to that, I feel like a lot of kids, they don't all learn the same way. That's how I was as a student. I couldn't learn how to read the same way that my peers were learning how to read. So as a teacher, I'm trying to find new and exciting ways to help students who don't understand in a different way. So I've been an Admiral all my life, and I want to continue being an Admiral for my entire teaching career.
Why I teach is an easy question for me because I've been teaching for so long. I've been teaching for close to 31 years. It's something that I'm just driven to do. It's a passion of mine. I wake up every morning looking forward to what my kids are going to say to me, what they did last night, what they ate for breakfast. I teach third graders, and I think that's where my heart lies, and I just love to see the light bulbs go off on when they learn something. I love to see when they interact with their peers. And then because I've been teaching for so long, I enjoy getting those graduation invitations in the mail from my former students. I love seeing the ACT pictures in the hallway of my former students. It is a passion of mine, and I can't think of doing anything else, really, because I'm in it for 31 years. What else would I do? But it is just something I look forward to every day, and I love it. And I love making a difference in their lives. And when they tell you you've made a difference, you really know that you were called for this profession.
What I love about teaching in my role as a kindergarten teacher is I get to set the tone for the rest of their educational years. So if I make it a pleasant experience, then perhaps they'll carry that with them and want to continue. And I know in my heart that education makes a big difference. It did for me, and I know that it will for these children. Another big why for me is I feel passionate about helping children learn emotional and social skills. If I can teach them about their emotions, explain how they're feeling, and what they should do when they feel that way, and what they shouldn't do, I can set them up to make successful choices as an adult. When they have those same feelings, as an adult, they'll know how to react when they get angry and when they get sad and when things don't go their way. And I think that will make a big difference in society down the road. I also think teaching is a great creative outlet for me. I love designing lessons that inspire children to learn and are fun for them.
Why do I teach? I was inspired to teach from a second grade teacher who happened to be a male teacher, Mr. Larry Lodgen, who was very innovative and just always kept me on my toes. And I remember just being so enthralled with reading and books, and I wanted to give back and do the same thing. So I feel like teaching for me has opened up the doors to help grow children, but it allows me to help produce productive members of society.
Why I teach? Teaching was never my first priority when I was in college. I wanted to do something that was sport-oriented, but that kind of fell through. I finished a degree with business administration, and then I got employed by the Gulfport City Schools as an assistant. And once I got employed with the Gulfport City Schools, I started in kindergarten. It has been my main grade that I have taught is kindergarten. And then I developed a liking for what I did. To see the spark in kindergarten students, you're the ground floor. You're pretty much the ground floor of kindergarten. And to see that spark in an eye and to know that you're going to make a difference in the other grades to follow. I had some very influential teachers as I look back on my schooling, and I think that also had a calling for me too, because I can remember some of those teachers, and I was a really good student. And I think it's because of them that I was a really great student. So I think what really led me to teach was part of that. Now I still teach kindergarten, and I love teaching kindergarten because you get to be, like I say, the ground floor of the teaching academics. Students now need, I would say, problem solving, because I like to problem solve. If you have a strategy to solve a problem, you can solve any problem in the world. Doesn't matter what it looks like. We also do it in kindergarten. We also teach a lot of life skill things. Because teaching is not only about academics, it's about being that productive member of society, which we talk about all the time. Students have to be prepared, and they have to have goals. And we set those short-term goals, even in kindergarten, and the long-term goals. So I really enjoy showing them the way. And I think in kindergarten is what we actually start the way, and we continue them to the successful journey. And I think that's what really I like to teach.
Why I teach. It's a huge responsibility, but it's a great honor and a privilege to be given a set of kids that you're going to have for 9 months, and you have the opportunity to guide them, mold them, teach them to love to learn, but not just teach them to learn, but to love each other and to be kind citizens. So that's why I teach, to make the world a better place, ensure our future is good.
I teach for the relationships to help kids be lifelong learners and productive members of society. I teach for the identity of strengths and weaknesses academically and personally. I teach for the growth, to help students grow, to help them identify as themselves academically and to push them to the highest success possible. I teach for the small moments, to be there for every milestone that these children go through when they're in our classrooms, and I teach for the recognition that we're always in their corner, no matter what, to cheer them on through all of life's ups and downs.
So why do I teach? Back when I was in elementary school, high school, I enjoyed school. I always liked school. So when I was in college, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be, and my grandmother was a home economics teacher for Bellevue Junior High. And when I got to college, I thought I was set and bound to go be a lawyer. Who would have thought that? So I got to college, I started taking the courses, and summer jobs fell where I was working summer camps, and I got a job working with Memorial Hospital doing their summer camp program. Love children, and when I get around children, I just feel a big piece of my heart is filled. And so teaching to me is very enjoyable. I love setting the tone and making my kids happy. I love how they make me happy. I love building the relationships with my students. I think I learn something every day from my kids. I don't know if I'm teaching them well enough, but I know that they're teaching me well each day. Teaching has been a great part of my life, working with the kids and just making it fun, setting the tone while I'm in the classroom and making learning fun with them. I think I'm creative, and being part of teaching is to be creative and step out of the box. So I like that aspect of walking into each day knowing that it can be whatever we want it to be. Because we hold the keys to the classroom, yet you have to have those relationships. So teaching is very fun to me, and I'll enjoy it. I got into teaching because I want to make a difference. I enjoy building relationships with the kids the most, and making sure that they see that there's a lot of the world to be offered through experiences and travel. And that's the fun part about my job, is that I get to step out of the box and out of the classroom and show them different experiences in the world, real world jobs. And so that's the reason that I teach, is to shape them and mold them to make it better for the future.
I teach because I enjoy showing our students another side of the world, to teach them a different language, be able to communicate, to understand and to respect the different culture. As a foreigner, my students teach me new things every day. I would love to set up the friendship between the United States and China to help our students be college and career ready in global market.
So there's a race in, I think it's Gloucester, England, where there's a 7-pound wheel of cheese, and they roll it down a hill, and people come from all over the world to chase it. And the first one to get it gets the cheese. And it's a silly, meaningless crazy race, but and where everybody collides with one another. There's no order, and the norm is you're going to fall. And some people, when they fall and run into one another, they get angry, and other people, they roll down the hill like a kid would. And I've seen the winners. They do this thing where they somersault over. You just figure it out as you go, and that to me is a lot like teaching, where there are no lanes. There's always some adversity, and it's all about how you react. And believe me, I have thought about other professions. I have played for 25 years, and I can't find anything that interesting. And as far as like meaning in work goes and all that, it has it, but it's still about as meaningful as like the picture of the Buddhist monks doing the sand, and it's like, I think it's called a mandala, where it's beautiful. They spend all day on it, and it's something that like I couldn't do in a lifetime. And then at the end of the day, they just wipe it clean, and that too. That's how I understand teaching with each new semester, each new year. So yeah, the meaning for it with me is not the difference I make in anyone's life. It's I don't know, it's an experience every day, and you never know how you're going to get hit, and it gives you it seems like a lifetime of chances to get better at responding to things you used to be terrible at responding at, and you're always tested, and I like that. That's why I teach.
Teaching is something I've always wanted to do, and the reason why is because of a teacher. Her name was Kathy Timms, that really just kind of gave me an opportunity to be a help in her class. And I was in middle school, and we had computer classes, and it's kind of like sort of like what private school does right now, but we were or homeschool, but I was in a private school, and we were able to do all of our work anytime we wanted to, as long as we completed it by some date. And I liked math, and math was really fun for me. I ended up completing all my math stuff super early. Halfway through the year, I was already done with math and had a whole another half to do. And because of that, I had extra time on my hands. And Miss Kathy, she taught first grade, and she needed some help. Says, hey man, you're pretty good at math. Come on by and see if you can help me out and whatnot. So I came by and was helping some of the kids out, and being useful and being able to be a light to them really kind of opened up my heart, and was like, man, this is actually really cool, and it was really something that I like to do. So that's how I got into teaching. And since then, it wasn't when people used to ask me, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? I said, I want to be a teacher. Like, you sound kind of crazy. You sure you want to be a teacher? It's like, that's what I want to do. And ever since then, that is all I wanted to do. And so I went for that goal, and to this day, I still enjoy it. I like it. And so I enjoy teaching. This is what I do. And so, yeah.
I teach to have a profound impact on my students' educational journey, so that they feel valued and also are proud of themselves. I teach to inspire students to cultivate their uniqueness so that it can be something that they use to become successful later on in life. To show them innovative and creative ways to learn new things. I teach to inspire them beyond the classroom to always pursue learning and growth beyond their classroom years, and to expose them to creative and innovative ways of learning new things with new experiences that maybe they haven't had before, and to encourage them to always persevere and to know that they are loved.
Why I teach? I teach because I I was created to serve. I teach because I was created to love. And with 38 years in this profession, I am still loving those that I serve, the children. I teach because it's my calling, it's my passion, it's my world. I love teaching children to love learning. I gain fulfillment. And pleasure in the work that I do day in and day out. I want to teach. I teach because I want to inspire students. I want to motivate them. I want to influence them. I want to engage their minds. I want to nurture them. I want to listen to them. I want to encourage them. I want to empower them to be the best that they can be. I teach because I love it. I teach because I have the heart for it. And I teach because I want to make a difference in the lives of children every day. Some of the most influential people in my life were my teachers. They were truly concerned about my academic success and my personal growth. And so I just remember like, wow, I want to be that person for young people. And so I teach so I can be a part of them growing as an individual. How are you going to do in the classroom? What careers are we going to explore? What does your future look like? Because that's what they did for me, and I want to do that for them. I like seeing the light bulb come on and building relationships with them that last like forever. And so that's why I teach. It brings me great joy to just work with young people in just not the classroom, but in all aspects of it. And so again, that's why I teach.
I teach because I actually like it. I like the children. I like what I do. I like watching them grow. And as a job, it's actually kind of fun most of the time. We laugh a lot. And it's really gratifying to watch a child grow and think maybe you made a little difference in this child's life, or maybe this child has discovered the love for reading because of something they learned in your class. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. I like doing it. And oh, it's never boring, never. Time goes by very quickly every day. Well, I've seen that children come from all walks of life, and they all come knowing different things, but they can all leave and ready to be successful members of society, that they all are able to do that no matter where they come from. And it has just made me kind of notice kids in stores, and everywhere I go I find myself looking at children and just, thinking about where they are, where they're going to go in life, and I just like being a part of that.
So I teach because it's something that I feel that we are called to do. It's a purpose. I don't think it's a profession. And I really believe that the best teachers have a servant's heart and a servant's attitude. And I feel like the most successful teachers are successful because they believe that they are doing something that is bigger than themselves, something that's greater than themselves. Whether that is serving the students in the capacity of an educator, a knowledge giver, or even in some of those roles that are not part of the job description, like mother, friend, nurse, counselor. I think that all of those aspects are important for a teacher to have, because building relationships is one of the most important aspects of the job. It's not enough to just know your content area, but you have to also know your students. So I think that I teach because I enjoy seeing the growth of students from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, as well as building those relationships. And it's always a nice bonus when they come back and you have seen this transformation from an awkward middle school student not sure what they want to do with their life to a successful, productive adult. And that's our ultimate goal, I think, as educators, is to give them real-world knowledge and skills that they can use to give back to society as well. So we give back to our students, and then hopefully they also give back to their world.
I teach because I know that we have the ability to shape our students and their future, and I'd like to be 100% involved in that. I became a teacher to be a part of the change. The change meaning shaping their minds, their souls, their future, building them as a person, not just in education, but them as a human being ready for the real world. I always want my students to feel supported and safe, to always know that I'm always there for them regardless of the situation, whether it be in academics or home or environment, whatever it might be, that I will be that person that needs to be there for them or wants to be there for them. Whenever I see students on a different basis than normal classroom teachers do, since I am an instructional coach. I see students that come to me that already have gaps and are already behind in their level of education. So my goal again is to work with these students to help build them to get to that level and to get to, I would say, to get to being that independent learner and being that child that's able to have those strategies built into them to succeed in the future grades, in the future as they are in the world outside of school and in school. It actually truly makes you feel good at what you do. Again, it brings that side of happiness that we may not be able to get in other places in our lives just because we've touched a child in a different way than we may not have ever been able to, and seeing them succeed and grow, that enlightens me. That just brings that spark of happiness and joy that makes me want to continue to push forward. Actually, I was a ELL learner growing up, so I did not speak English as my first language. I went to pre-K, and in pre-K my teacher assistant followed me to kindergarten. And as she followed me to kindergarten, she was able to come to the kindergarten classroom and support me all the way through. At that time and day, we did not have ELL teachers to support that. I was the only non-speaking English student in that school. So she made a big impact on my life to never let me fail and always made sure I succeeded. Their determination continues to show us the possibilities are endless. Their determination continues to help push and strive us all forward, and continues helping me and drive me into ensuring these students succeed at all times.
I love to teach because my students give me purpose. Makes me emotional, sorry. They make me better every day, and I want to be better for them. Every day whenever I come to work, whenever I leave, I internalize and try to figure out what I could have done differently, how I could have said something better, what I could do to be better for them, because they deserve it. I feel like we are really privileged to get to work with the kids that we do, especially at my school. A lot of them don't even look forward to going home and getting a hug, you know. Every day when I step through my door, I look forward to the student who's going to walk in and remind me why I got into this profession to begin with. I don't think that there is anything better than being a teacher, getting to impact their lives and seeing the difference and the aha moments with them. It is the reason why I do what I do and why I do love to teach.